Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer by Gene Autry. This was yet another Christmas song I already reviewed in 2014 as one of my first videos on this channel. As you can hear, I didn't really do the song justice.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Cupid, Comet, Vixen, Dunder, also known as
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer originated as an assignment. A store in Chicago created its own children's book, which would be the famous creation we now know that was done by Robert L. May in 1939. Unfortunately, May's wife died the year Rudolph was created, so even the origin of Rudolph is tragic. I needed Rudolph now more than ever, he admitted. Things fortunately got better for May, as his brother-in-law wrote a song for Rudolph, which was then famously covered by Gene Autry, who almost passed on it. In 1964, there was a film adaptation of Rudolph, which remains as the longest televised Christmas special. The film was narrated by fellow Christmas singer Burl Ives. Rudolph was voiced by Billy Ray Mitchards, and Paul Soles did the voice of Hermie, someone else I previously did a video on.
Because I didn't know he was still alive. He was the voice of the very first Spider-Man cartoon, and Hermie in the animated film Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He also talks about how he didn't expect Spider-Man or Rudolph to last long.
Nobody knew at the time of either Rudolph or Spidey that these two series were going to last more than a couple of years.
Rest in peace, Paul Soles, you kind soul.
So yeah, in 2014, I tried to tackle two anniversaries related to Rudolph, the 75th anniversary of his creation, and the 50th anniversary of the film adaptation. Now onto the song. Well, that's the creepiest way to start a Christmas song. It sounds like a haunted porcelain doll. How were they okay with this? I mean, obviously the recording standards were different back then. Just how? Anyway, now we get into the lyrics.
You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen.
You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. As time went on, everyone suddenly forgot the names of the reindeer, kind of like the names of the 7 dwarves, who didn't even have names in the original story.
But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all?
But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? There was a question on Quora that asked, without cheating, how many of Santa's reindeer can you name? 2 of the 3 answers quoted the aforementioned song lyric, and one of the other answers thanked The Nightmare Before Christmas. And I only know Donner and Blitzen because their names are thunder and lightning in German. So I assume not many people can name the reindeer. It's insane that the lyric, do you recall the most famous reindeer of all, essentially predicted its own legacy.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glowed.
Would I say that because it glows? Or would it be me just trying to be nice? Especially since there's no context of the setting. Of course, I can only say it glows if it's nighttime, and that's only if I choose to say it glows.
All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names.
That's why I asked if saying it glows would be just me trying to be nice. What names would they even call Rudolph? And did they laugh and call him names just because of his nose?
They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games.
Did they never let poor Rudolph play any reindeer games just because of his nose? If so, that's incredibly nitpicky, and that's coming from me nitpicking these lyrics.
Then one foggy Christmas Eve.
Is it just me, or does the lyric, then one foggy Christmas Eve, sound a lot more sad and contrasting the happiness of the tune earlier in the song? Or maybe it's because this is literally the darkest Christmas song when there's a global power outage described. Or at least it sounds like there's a global power outage when Rudolph's nose is the only source of light Santa can use.
Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
How bright is his nose that it can be used as a substitute for lighting and navigation? How high does Santa even fly for this to be a possibility? Alright, let's take Las Vegas for instance. Las Vegas is one of the brightest cities in the world. Seeing all the bright lights from as high as Santa flies, he should be able to see the houses, right? Also, where was Santa when all the other reindeer laughed and called him names? He really only stepped in just to ask for navigation.
Then how the reindeer loved him.
They loved him all because he helped guide them.
As they shouted out with glee,
Glee.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history.
Once again, the omniscient third-person perspective is predicting its own legacy. The song just repeats from here after this brief instrumental part. Let's go back for a second. So they made fun of him and now they only loved him because he helped guide them. That's a terrible message. The moral of the song, and especially the film adaptation, is people won't like you unless they need you, unless it can help them out in some way. If not, you'll just have to get used to being laughed at and called names. This is a story for kids. Since Rudolph is still copyrighted, I hope this review is able to stay. One last comment about this being one of my first videos. I didn't notice until this past year that my only 2 Christmas videos were Krampus related. And they were a year before the film was even released. There was another song also covered by Gene Autry, and there was this adorable sweater worn by Aunt Linda, portrayed by Alison Tolman. I love the Vanna White pose. Seems like she really did have a lot of fun on set. And since manifestation was the theme of this video, I find it insane that my first 2 Christmas videos from 2014 were posted around the time Krampus was filmed and set to be released the following Christmas. I just wanted to end on a positive note to contrast the horrible message Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer gives.